Where's Steve?
I told Steve to fuck off because you said you didn't want to do a show with him. So
Yeah, that's true. I really
that's
don't ever
basically
want
what
to do
happened.
this. That'd be killer. I'm just kidding, Steve. That's not actually true.
No, I think Steve's actually asleep.
He's got a busy couple of days.
Yeah.
Did he go to
I
Horrorhound?
mean, no, I don't know. We'll talk about Horrorhound on here. Horrorhound in Indianapolis is this weekend, and I really don't know hardly anybody that went to it. I know Crater even bailed out of it, and if he gives up on a show, or I don't know, that's pretty big bold decision.
I mean,
Crater.
I'm not going to talk any shit about Horrorhound just because it's literally the only horror show left that's actually just completely horror related anymore. And I mean, the guest list is not something that I like. I don't give a fuck about the guy from Hannibal. I have no idea like who that guy is, to be honest. But I mean, they had a couple of interesting guys there. We were talking about before the show started. I was talking about Edward Herrmann, who's the guy that was Max from the Lost Boys. I don't think he's ever done a show that I remember.
Yeah, actually, I did see a photo of him that friend of mine, Garrett, actually took a photo on. He's from the WrestleManiacs show that we do, and he's a big time Lost Boys fan. And he was traveling all the way from like, God, I don't want to feel like a dickhead if I don't know exactly where he's from, but I think he lives in like Rhode Island or somewhere like that, like up in the Northeast, one of those little small states.
Yeah. Was he the one that was wearing the Was he the one that was wearing the Max Video shirt? I
Yeah,
saw a guy wearing like a Max Video shirt,
yeah,
and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's some dedication right there.
yeah. Big time Lost Boys fan because they'd originally announced Jason Patrick is doing his first ever show. That was going to be his first ever show, and as oftentimes happens, he canceled. I mean, there's a reason. Like if somebody's never done a show, that they probably never will at this point.
I just don't. I never do see that guy doing a show, but that guy's had an interesting life here recently. I don't know if you heard about all that shit that happened with him. Like he's been this big custody.
Up in the Northeast, those little small states.
Yeah. Was he the one that was wearing
I'm hearing the echo.
Was he the one that was wearing the Max Video shirt? I saw a guy wearing like a Max Video shirt. And I was like, Jesus. Why in the hell am I hearing shit from my?
Are you on the YouTube? You got to close the YouTube thing out.
Hold on.
There's echo.
Yeah, I hate when that shit happens.
Echo.
There we go.
Anyway, welcome to Saturday Night.
Jesus.
I guess we didn't really say that we're live, and we're going to be talking about some stuff tonight. We didn't do a show this week. I was actually gone over the last day and a half or so. Went to Tennessee. First time I'd been to Knoxville in quite a few years, and that's a nice town, man. I actually really enjoyed Knoxville quite a bit. There's a big music scene down there too. Like I think every Friday.
I don't know why,
Saturday.
but
Do what now?
I was just gonna say I thought that for some reason I had in my head you were going there to watch a football game or something, but you went down there to see a concert, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I went down there last night actually, and it was like a hell of a drive back right after that concert. Oh my God, man! Like the concert started at like 8 o'clock, and it wasn't over until probably right at midnight or something. And we had like a 4 hour drive back because my girlfriend had to work today. So yeah, that was quite an experience. But yeah, I mean it was. I don't know if you're familiar with the guy I saw, but he's kind of like an outlaw country. I don't even know how you describe it, but I really like his music, and he was great, and his band was freaking awesome live. And we saw it at, if anybody wants to look this theater up, Tennessee Theater in Knoxville. It is like one of those old-fashioned movie theaters that you see in a movie. Like, it's huge. It's freaking gorgeous. The only thing that, like, I know that you've definitely seen that's similar to it is probably the Kentucky Theater, but it is like 10 times nicer than the Kentucky Theater, and it's huge. I mean, it's massive. So it was.
There's a.
It was
I
fun.
actually prefer the theater style places to watch shows at as opposed to like arenas and things like that. Like when we went and saw, there's a couple of shows I went and seen the last little while, but the one that we saw Yes at was the Louisville Palace, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
a old style theater with statues and like I. It's hard to explain, but it's a theater that you would watch something at in like the 40s or something like that. That's the core of it or whatever.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think
I actually prefer to
the
see
music
better
sounds a lot
atmosphere.
better in those theaters too than like a big arena or whatever. It's more intimate, if you will. So
It's an
anyway,
intimate fucking setting.
that's what I enjoy. Intimacy. But yeah, I mean, if you ever get a chance to go down to Knoxville, it's actually really. I thought it was freaking cool as hell. It was
I don't
it was
think
a
I'm
nice
not
little town. Well, I say little town, it's fucking huge, but you know,
Yeah, I don't think I've
it's
ever been to Knoxville. I don't know if I have or not.
yeah.
I know I've been to Nashville. I've never been to Knoxville.
They got a freaking massive ass mall there too, like the West End Mall or something like that. You can get
Hmm.
lost in that son of a bitch. Something though, like I wanted to mention on here since I went to the mall, and I don't really go to the mall that much. I just kind of go and look around. I don't buy anything because it's fucking expensive. I went to FYE store yesterday, right? Man, they had something. They had the used Blu-rays like 15% off or something like that. I was like, I'll look through them. Every damn one of the used Blu-rays was just as expensive as a brand new damn Blu-ray.
Yeah, man. Like there,
It was
I
crazy.
don't.
Like, I don't
I
know
don't
why
really.
anybody buy shit in there.
I don't understand how malls still exist. Like I really don't. I've been to Huntington Mall, Ashland Mall a couple of times, and the Ashland Mall's got a FYE in it too. And I I don't understand it because it's so fucking expensive. Everything in that place is so expensive. And it's like, is it just for people that don't have any idea the internet exists? Like that couldn't order anything online? Or, because
Man,
there's
I don't
no
know.
reason to pay that much money for any of that shit.
I was thinking the same damn thing. And plus, I went to the West End Mall yesterday. Went to Fayette Mall the weekend before. They're miserable. They're hotter than hell too, because they're so. I guess they're so daggone big. If it's hot outside, they can't really air condition it. You're miserable walking around in the heat, checking out these, this expensive shit. Most of the time it's, clothing stores. I think is really what makes people go to
Fuck.
these.
Those stores, I mean, for anybody with any common sense, wouldn't go into them stores anyway. But you got, your fucking Hollister and your Aeropostale and all that stuff, and it's like insanely expensive shit for people that apparently don't ever wear shirts anyway. Because like anytime you see a place like that, there's always some dude with his fucking shirt off in the like on a poster or a window or something like that. He's like, "Oh, look here! Oh, check me out!"
Well, what's
It's like,
funny?
no,
I mean, I can understand, kids going to school or young college kids or something like that, but when you see like a 35, 40-year-old man wearing a fucking Aeropostale or a Hollister shirt, you can't help but just roll your eye. I mean, really, like, I don't know. I don't get that. It's like, back in the day in the early 90s, if you'd see, your dad wearing a Bugle Boy shirt or something.
I think he probably did have some Bugle Boy like shirts and shit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, I mean,
Something that does bother me about those stores too, though, like FYEs and Spencer's and a couple of those stores like that. They always have all this movie related shit, like, and it's awesome. And it's like like for instance, in FYE they've got like a life size ET, and they've got like all this really cool stuff, and it's like hundreds of fucking dollars, like, and nobody ever buys it. Like, I don't know anybody that buys that stuff, and you wouldn't buy it because it's so damn expensive. I don't even know like what the point of it is,
I
really.
don't know. I mean, I used to love going in like Suncoast Videos and just looking, but I don't really have that many memories of actually just buying a lot of shit in there. in those stores.
I mean, you couldn't. There's no way.
Yeah. But I mean, malls, I guess, since kids will always exist, malls will always exist. That's kind of the mall crowds, young kids and teenagers and stuff. So
I
one
will
of the
tell
big
you though,
things I
man.
miss
Like
about malls are the arcades, though. Do you remember? You remember those? I used to love going to arcades in the malls.
yeah, I mean, here for a while, people that know where we live would know we actually had an arcade here for like 6 months or something at one point in time,
Yeah.
and that's like the best part of my childhood, I think. Yeah, arcades were amazing back in the day. I remember when like Mortal Kombat 3 came out, and it like first came out and it was an arcade and shit, and people were playing it, and everybody was like excited when video games like that would come out in the arcade.
And it was like there's a line for, the Mortal Kombat game at Walmart and shit,
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy how the differences, from now until back then, how things changed so much. I guess now people just kind of play on the internet or with Xbox or whatever it's called, Xbox Live or something like that. So that's the arcade
Yeah,
now,
shit.
I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they have headsets like this, and that's the way they play in an arcade. But I don't know. I miss that
I mean,
shit
you'd have
too.
guys back then, though. It was fun because people were, kind of sleazy, and they'd cheat to win at Mortal Kombat and stuff. Like, I remember one time I was kicking this guy's ass on Mortal Kombat as a kid, and I wasn't ever that great at Mortal Kombat. I mean, I was okay. I was excited. I was beating the shit out of this guy. And, like, all of a sudden, I was like 12 years old or something like that, and he was probably, like, in his 20s. He just spit on my hand. And that way I would be, like, distracted. I would be distracted, and, like,
What?
then he won. Yeah, he just, like... I was like, oh, God, man, what the hell? And he beat me. So
That's a good idea. I never thought about that. That's fucking. That's
can't-
hardcore.
Yeah, you can't do shit like that now if you play. I mean, you can't be dirty and lie and cheat and steal to get ahead and have guys spit on
Dude,
your
Eddie
hand
Guerrero.
playing Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
really? That reminds me. That's a good segue though. I tell you something they do nowadays that just got years. Did you hear about swatting? Have you heard about that?
No. I've missed that one. What's swatting?
Okay. People that fucking play. Okay, people that play online games, right? Sometimes they'll live stream like me and you are right now as they're playing the video game, right? So if they're getting their ass kicked, what some of these fuckers will do is if they'll find out personal information about the guy that they're playing against, and they'll call in like a fucking murderer to the SWAT team and have the SWAT team like break into this guy's house live and like arrest him. And somebody did this and ended up like the SWAT team shot his dad, and that guy got like 30 years in prison for calling that in. That's just happened like recently.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That would have been the last thing
people
I
do
would
that.
have guessed what swatting was, but my God.
Yeah, it's like
What's wrong with
on a smaller level. You just call the police and you tell them that something's like happening in this guy's house, like that he's killed somebody or something like that, and then the police come in and it's a big fucking laugh apparently, like to watch him get arrested on live stream.
What's wrong with people, boys? So, anyway, if anybody has questions or anything or comments, we'll talk about anything you want to tonight. We got some news to talk about. One of the big things that I wanted to mention on here, and this will probably bring a lot of discussion, is coming in late 2015, Uncle Bill. 4K Blu-ray has been confirmed. It's officially on the way. According to Victor Matsuda, chairman of Blu-ray Disc Association Global Promotions Committee, expects the 4K Blu-ray to be finalized in the first half of 2015, paving the way for commercial availability by the end of that year. This means we can expect to see actual 4K Blu-ray movies and players available in stores by Christmas next year. Apart from the jump to the resolution, it's the resolution revolution, if you will. which is 3,840 by 2,160 pixels. We also expect a 4K Blu-ray to support higher frame rates up to 60 frames per second, and expected color gamut along with high dynamic range, as well as a bunch of other encoding 4K movies. They'll make them more efficient and allow for higher bit rates. The group is currently exploring the possibility of increasing the disk capacity from 66 gigabyte to 100 gigabyte per disk. So they're saying by this time next year, we will have the player and possibly some movies in 4K Blu-ray. So what do you think about that?
And somewhere like Don May Jr. just came all over himself.
I'm sure.
Right now.
Well, you know where Don May is. He's in Indianapolis this week, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't do the show. I messaged Don like right after the show last week, and I was like, and I do this all the time. And he's like, well, I'm going to be busy going to shows the next couple of weeks. If you're at Horrorhound next weekend, we can talk then. Or, it'll be until October. I'll be busy, whatever. And he is busy. He's always doing something. But, yeah, Don May, he'll get that damn player the first day, guaranteed.
I actually, I'm not really opposed to that, though. I think it's kind of logical at this point. They're already making like a lot of Blu-rays in 4K, but I mean, it's kind of you kind of knew that was coming. I think everybody saw that coming.
They're mastering them in 4K, which I think is something that they're kind of tricking people with, or people like, oh, it's going to be, in all actuality, a lot of shit has been mastered in 4K, and they don't really promote it as that. Like a lot of the new movies are already 4K. All that shit's in the theater 4K. I think that it's a little surprising for me. I mean, I honestly thought that the physical formats would kind of end with Blu-ray, because one of the things that I noticed that I was kind of surprised at, and the first time I've seen this was actually this past weekend in Knoxville Walmart Supercenter. It was a massive fucking Supercenter too, by the way. I'd never seen one that damn big. I think it had like 24 different registers there and shit. And I was like, wow, this Walmart's probably got a mayor or something. I mean, it's huge.
Was anybody actually at them? That's the thing I noticed about Walmart. They got like 1,000 fucking registers. 2 people at them. Right.
And they had they seriously had like 8 self checkouts, and none of them were open. Although this was 12:30 at night, so maybe that's why. But anyway, something I noticed is, let me get a little prop here, something to. Hell, I ain't got nothing. Wait, I might have something. Hang on. I'm always looking for props. Let me find something here. God damn it, I gotta have a little card. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. A little prop here. They had a bunch of cards about this size. This is like End of the Pit card, which, if you have that movie now, there's no way to get it. So, anyway, they had probably like 7 or 8 different movies that were just ultraviolet voodoo codes on the card. And I guess you could open the card up and it would have the code for whatever movie. And a lot of the time it was pre-order, but they had some stuff that was already out on Blu-ray and DVD. And I kind of figured that was where we would see movies going, because it's just so much cheaper to produce that than actually making up discs with covers and cases and, and I do think it's going that way. But maybe the 4K thing is just for really niche group of people, because that type of resolution. How are you even going to notice unless you've got like an 80-inch TV or something? I mean, I don't really. I mean, I say this now. Maybe then when we see the product, we'll notice. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think you really need that.
I mean, the technology moves so fast though now. It's like I saw something today that was like the new curved screen HD TVs that they're selling. It's like I didn't have any fucking idea that was even happening, but apparently that's like a new thing, like some sort of higher resolution due to the fact that it's a curved screen. It's like okay, and then now this coming along and everything. I mean, none of that really surprises me. But what I'm wondering about is, what's it cost? Like, what will be the cost of the discs and the players and everything?
Well, I mean, you also have to have a 4K TV, so you got to take that into
Right.
consideration as well. Which some of those are already on sale, the 4K TV. Um, and when they first come out, I think they're going to be really high. I think they're probably going to be about $40 a movie, and the players are probably going to be upwards of $400+. I would be surprised if they were cheaper than that. Because any new technology when it comes out, it's always going to be you're going to be paying the premium for it.
Yeah,
So
but I can kind of see what you're saying though. Like the idea of like things going to all of the different voodoos and the rather than being physical, I kind of thought that would happen too. It kind of is happening though, honestly. I thought that was the point of putting that shit in those Blu-rays was to get people used to the idea of it, get them like hooked on doing it or whatever, and then eventually they would switch over to just that. Like that would be the thing.
right. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was kind of surprised when I saw the cards because I'd never even heard of Walmart's carrying just the cards with. I'm not talking about you see Walmart sometimes. You can pre-order the Blu-ray and you'll get an ultraviolet code where you can get it a week early or whatever on ultraviolet or Vudu. This was just for the ultraviolet code. It wasn't for any DVD or Blu-ray. And I'd not heard anybody really talk about that. And that's an interesting concept because we were talking about this a year or two ago, I think, that, the studios, it's just more convenient for everybody. You can get the movie 2 weeks early. You can pay, it was like $14 for Guardians of the Galaxy. They already had that one. And
Hmm.
they had a lot of other, I can't remember all the other movies, but they had like some Mark Wahlberg shit and a bunch of other, like probably 8 or 9 different movies in this display with just cards. So I think it's interesting to see where the format wars go. Is it going to go more digital? Are people actually going to adopt another? Blu-ray has been around what 8 years now, so it's
Hmm.
been around longer than a lot of people think. Is this the end of regular Blu-ray? Is Blu-ray ending anyway? Is the physical? Because for me, man, I don't know about you. I probably bought maybe 4 or 5 Blu-rays the whole year. I haven't
I
really.
have too. I don't. And another thing about it is I don't have nearly like as many Blu-rays as I did have like DVDs at this same time.
Right.
Like in the same amount of time that I was buying DVDs, I've been buying Blu-rays. Like there's no comparison. So whatever happens, like if it goes to 4K, if it goes to like some sort of a code rather than an actual physical thing, I don't think it would bother me that much. Like not like what it did with DVD, like fucking where
Yeah.
all that became obsolete almost immediately. Have like 1,000 DVDs.
Right. I mean, the thing is too. I think that with DVD is a lot of these movies we'd never really seen on a digital format at all, and a lot of them, let's be honest, like I can go through some of them here, like um, Silent Rage or Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Sleepaway Camp, or movies like that. I don't really feel the need to own shit like that on Blu-ray. Like I'm fine with a DVD of Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't really care to buy something just for slightly better. And the Blu-ray of movies like that's just going to be slightly better than the DVD anyway. And it's just a waste of money. I mean, a lot of the
Well,
stuff.
especially like slasher films, though, man. Like,
Right.
goddamn, that's one thing I've noticed. I mean, I own a bunch of the Scream Factory Blu-rays and stuff, and okay, it does look better, but pretty much anything looks better on Blu-ray than it does on DVD. But it's a slasher movie. I mean, it was low budget. There's not any special effects usually. It's just not going to look amazing You know what I mean? Like it's not going to look like Star Wars or anything like that. It's not going to happen. So there's really no point in doing that, other than if you just really like the movie, like, or it's never been available on anything and it comes out on Blu-ray. But to rebuy slasher films on Blu-ray that you have on DVD is pretty fucking pointless, with the exception of Prom Night because it looks like shit. I mean, it looks so bad on
Yeah.
DVD you can't even watch it.
Or curtains even. I mean, if it's something that's never really received a a proper release, I can totally understand that. Even Death Spa. They as shitty as that movie is, and it's shitty. It never really received a proper DVD release. So I mean, I can understand that.
That's one
Or
that was mastered in 4K, by the way. I was like,
that's
what the
hilarious.
what?
You'd think they shot that damn thing on video. I mean, I'd only seen that movie like one time. We watched a video of it years and years ago.
Oh
But like,
God.
you would not think that would even been like a movie that was shot on film that was so cheap.
What's
I'm waiting
funny
on
is
I'm waiting on Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge 4K Blu-ray.
when I saw that Phantom of the Paradise one that Scream Factory released, I thought that's what it was. I was really excited. It's a completely different movie, apparently.
A friend of the show, I think Cameron, sent me a link, I think yesterday or today, that I think it's Image or it's one of those companies like that. They're releasing the Dirt Bike Kid on Blu-ray,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
that movie had never that's never been out on any format like DVD or any digital format before. So that's pretty damn cool. I haven't seen that movie since I was like 5 or 6 years old. It might suck, but that's one I might actually get at some point if it goes on sale or something. I'd love to see it again.
They have like started releasing things that even are not even horror films that are kind of rare, obscure films. Scream Factory just released one that uh, I don't know if I had it on DVD or not, but it was Southern Comfort. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, though. It's like a Deliverance style film. Oh, good Lord. Oh, Jesus.
All right, am I back? I am back on here. I'm on here with myself, and Uncle Bill is off. So anyway, we'll get him. Hopefully, he'll be back on here. Um, and yeah, I don't even remember what we were talking about exactly, but I'm sure we'll get. Sometimes this laptop loses um, a connection. I don't know why. But I will see if I can get him back on here.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm back.
How's it going?
I'm killer right now.
Did you lose the
I was
internet
wondering,
connection too, or was that just me?
I don't know, it just froze.
Um, yeah, if you're, I know this laptop sucks sometimes. Like it'll just drop, the internet will just drop off on it. So if that happens, it's probably just me. So you just don't worry about it. Anyway, what in the hell were
Yeah,
we
we'll be
talking
all
about?
right. Did you want to? Fuck, I don't even remember now. But did you want to talk about the Horrorhound? Because it's actually going on right now. We haven't really had a chance to talk about it.
That's true. We haven't mentioned it much on the show either, really. Um, so yeah, I mean, you want to go through the? I haven't really heard anything good or bad about it, to be honest.
I haven't either. I haven't really heard anybody except like Don May Jr. talking about it. Like he might be the one guy on there that I've seen talking about it.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
know
our
that.
a lot of our friends like that we used to attend these shows with, none of them really go anymore. I mean, that's the thing. Like all the people that we used to hang with and stuff, like we don't really see them anymore. Even at the shows we're at, you know.
It's weird though when you think about it. It's not to get too deep or anything, but it was like a moment in time kind of thing, where I don't think you ever be able to get that group of people back together, like all of them back together. Most of them, I don't even know where the hell they are now. Like, there's a core group of people that still go, but no, shit, man. Like, I don't know where people like Brandy and all them went to, and like, I have no fucking idea. They don't go to shows anymore that I know of.
No, I think a lot of people kind of gave up on shows. I mean, it was kind of like a changing of the guard from that hardcore horror fan base to, I hate to say this because I know it pisses people off, but to like Walking Dead fans and people like mainstream TV, like with a little dash of horror in it, like Hannibal show, and I know they had Kane from WWE there, which
I noticed that, and I was thinking he signed his fucking name as Kane, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I mean, he would sign his name as that. I get it, but it's like that. That's not even a real person. Like to sign your name as the character. I don't. What good is
well,
that?
that's what he's going to be known as, though. I mean, what
Yeah,
would
but it's like
he ain't going to sign it as Glenn Jacobs
I understand that, but it's just
or
in
Isaac?
terms of
You get it?
something.
I wonder if anybody brought him Isaac Yankem photos. I'm sure somebody did.
I'm positive. Yeah.
You know what though? Like I like Kane. I think that as a big guy wrestler, he's always been a really solid. I ain't gonna say he's a good wrestler, but for that size, he's always been a. I thought he was good enough, you know. But he's just one of those guys that they've never really. I mean, they always give him shit to do, which I guess sucks for him. But I mean, he's been employed there for close to 20 years.
Yeah, he never really has any kind of angle or anything. Like the angle he's got right now is probably the biggest one he's had in forever, and he's not really a wrestler right now.
He's just kind of like a jabroni that gets beat up, you know.
Yeah.
On
But
behalf
anyway,
of the- yeah.
there was Kane, and then there was the guy from Hannibal, who I don't even know anything about, like the
I've
lead
never
guy from
watched an
Hannibal.
episode of that shit.
And there was
There's
the
like
Lost
a
Boys
lot of
thing.
Yeah, a lot of old school people there too. They brought back William Forsythe and Michael Berryman and stuff, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Michael Berryman's always a good guest. I know Bill Moseley was there. All those guys like that.
Yeah.
And he had some didn't they have some people from like Friday 4 like that hadn't done a lot of shows too?
I know Ted White's there. Hell, let me go on the damn website. Hang on a second. I'll go on there. We'll talk about it. Because I'm kind of curious myself because I didn't really. People like ask me all the time on Facebook and stuff. Like, am I going to Horrorhound? Am I going to Scarefest? And it's nothing against any of these shows, but I just don't really. I don't really want to go. I mean, I guess that's the best. I don't have an interest in going to
No.
these shows anymore. I mean, at least right now,
No.
maybe something will change. But I mean, there's nothing that really kind of draws me in and makes me want to go. Like, I can understand Garrett. You know, he wanted to go because Jason Patrick. He's a big Lost Boys fan. there's been nothing like that for me since probably the Jamie Lee Curtis thing, which really kind of
Yeah.
made me want to go. But anyway, I'm on the website now. They
I mean,
have
they're the same group of people do these shows like over and over and over again. I mean, with a couple of exceptions, but that's what
yeah.
makes it kind of
Well,
don't want to go.
and you're looking at quite a bit of money too, um, if you attend these shows.
God, yeah.
So, you know.
Also, though, this I was going to tell you this too. I actually posted this article, but there was a guy, and I don't remember the name of the website he posted off. It was like Halloween, I Love Halloween, or Halloween Respect, or something like that. It was talking about just what we were talking about, like how the convention scene has changed from the time. I think he started going like 2005 till now, and right around the same time we started going, and it was horrifying too that he was
Oh
that he
yeah.
was at. So it was like it's interesting to see somebody have the kind of the same reaction to what's going on now. And it started around the same time, you know.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, when we went to our first show, and it's funny you mentioned that because it's 10 years ago. I think this month was the first
Wow, that
horror
is
show
right.
the first horror show that we did, which was Horror Find up in Hunt Valley, Maryland, and they still have shows. I don't know where the hell they have shows at, but I don't think they have them there. But that show is really what got us hardcore back in. I mean, we were always fans of horror movies and stuff, but this was kind of brought it all full circle, and we were like hardcore into it. And it eventually led to us doing the Dead Pit show as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but the shows then, it was much more like a family atmosphere. Like, I'm the horror celebrity, you're the fan, but I want to shake your hand, give you a hug, and it's $10 or 15. If you're George Romero, he'll sign two things for you for $20 back then. And now it's just more like, can't take a photo with you. I can't get up and shake your hand or do any of that bullshit. I'm just gonna sign my name. You're gonna give me $35-40 for an autograph, and you're gonna be on your merry way. Get out of here.
Well, that's one of the things that he brought up that I don't know if a lot of people really understand is like back in that 10 years ago or whatever, it did feel like that they actually cared somewhat about interacting with you. Now it feels like a fucking business. I don't know one of them anymore where it doesn't
Right.
feel like a business completely. Like
No,
where
no.
it's just
I think a lot of it is the people they bring into the shows, though. I mean, I think that's maybe why Nathan wanted to do more of an old school show and bring in like Michael Berryman. That dude's awesome. Like if you ever see Michael Berryman in a show and you haven't met him, go up to him, because not only is he signed our shit for free one year, I know, and took a photo with us and everything. He loves being at these shows and talking to the fans. He's a really smart guy, and he makes you feel like he wants to, whether or not he really wants to be there or not, he makes it feel like you want. He wants to talk to you and wants to, converse with you, I guess. So and a lot of these other people, though, like a lot of the Walking Dead people, and maybe it's not just them, maybe it's the fact that they're so damn popular. It's just like a kind of a assembly line. Boom.
I don't know. If I ever told you the Michael Berryman story from Darkwoods, because he was actually at Darkwoods. I don't remember if you were there when this happened or not, but like it was one of the best things that I've ever see happen with like a celebrity or anything like that. He was leaving Darkwoods, and this little kid came up to him. This kid was probably, I'd say, 5, 6, something like that. And like he walks up to him, and his dad was bringing him up to him, and you could see that he was like scared of him. And so, Michael Berryman leans down, like he gets on, to the level with the kid, and he's like, what's wrong with you, whatever. And the kid's like, well, what happened to your face? And then he goes about like explaining all the condition that he has and all this and that. And then he's like playing around with him, messing around with him, and something. And that kid starts like laughing and getting at ease and things like that with him. I mean, I actually saw that happen, that whole thing like unfold. Like, he was like the coolest guy about it. And by the end of it, that kid was all like about being his friend or whatever.
Yeah. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with the guests they bring in, and I don't want to throw anybody under a bus or anything, but I mean, there's certain people that they're clearly just there to get a paycheck. Now, solely, I understand everybody's there to get paid. Everybody wants to get money of some sort, but there's certain people that, I mean, last show we went to, our last Horrorhound show, Catherine Isabel is a prime example of that, man. Nobody really knows who, I mean, aside from a small handful of people, nobody knows who the fuck she is. She's a good-looking woman, no doubt about that. If you pay an autograph for $25 or whatever for an autograph, for somebody like her, you should get it a fucking photo. Because most people want the photo anyway. They don't really. I think more people want the photos than they want the autograph now for some reason. And definitely with the females, But you've got people like her that's just, no, I want another $20 if you want a photo with me. And that's just.
I'm just curious, like, if you met her, like, this is the thing that kind of gets me about photos. If you met her, like, out on the street or something, and, like, you're like, hey, can you take a photo with me? Would she be like, no, I got to have $20? Like, is it just it's got to be just in shows where that's, like, a thing that you do, isn't it? I mean, if you met her at an airport, she'd probably take a photograph with you. Like, she wouldn't just be like, no, you got to give me $20. Because people would think you were fucking crazy.
Oh, no.
Anywhere else, people would just be like, God, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but I mean, continuing, I guess, with the Horrorhound, let's see, I'm on the website here, because we were going to talk about the show. We, honestly, like, when it comes to conventions and stuff, we haven't really talked about them much on the show, as far as, like, the lineups and stuff, so, John Berthal, from Walking Dead, he's, like, one of the big guys from Walking Dead. Scott Wilson, a.k.a. Santa Claus, from Walking Dead. They had James Remar, who, I remember from Dexter. Mainly.
What the fuck?
What?
Oh, nothing.
Hold on.
What in the ever
live from Horrorhound Weekend, talk about Horrorhound Weekend.
Oh, my God. He's made a special appearance.
The Slipster style. He's got his microphone on mute, though. Can hear you, brother.
What about now?
I hear you now.
All right.
So what's rocking and rolling down there, I guess up there in Indianapolis?
It's actually been pretty good here. It's just been a lot of, usual convention stuff. Found a couple things, and just been hanging out with the Synapse table and doing some work in the hotel room, and that's about it.
Those prom night Blu-rays been flying off the table this weekend?
The #1 seller, followed closely by Curtains.
Whenever you say, I'm just up there, like, not doing anything, hanging out at the booth, that translates to, I'm working on some shit that I'm not going to talk about, and I've been interviewing people, like,
Actually, to be perfect, I have not interviewed anybody here in this show.
I don't believe you.
No, you don't have to believe me. Fuck you, buddy.
Well, fuck you, buddy.
I don't need this shit. But when you get abuse, I can get it from people here. I don't have to call in to get abuse. Fuck you. I don't know.
That's true. They're far more abusing up there, I'm sure.
Oh,
yeah, I wouldn't know. That's all going on downstairs. It's about 11 o'clock, so.
Who's the big, like, as far as popular guests go? Who's like the most popular guest down there right now? You think?
There's been a lot of people have really enjoyed meeting Mads Mikkelsen from Hannibal. Been a really popular guest, and he's been really cool with people, and he did one of the best photo ops I've ever seen anyone do. Some of the photos have been creeping up online, but he likes to let people take photos with him at the table, no charge, none of that bullshit, and he's been really, really cool guy.
Yeah, that's definitely cool if he lets, a lot of the people nowadays don't do the photos at the booth, so.
Yeah, no,
that's a big thing. He's still on, like, I haven't not really watched the show, but he's still on, like, a big show on NBC and stuff, so it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, but, I think nothing else. So, no, he's been great, and then there's been dead people. I haven't really, to be honest with you, I didn't really check out the lineup for the show too much before I came, but I think some other folks. They had some, it's a good assortment of people. There's not like a Bruce Campbell or a Robert Englund here who's like eating up all the attention. It's pretty spread out amongst a fair amount of people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised at some of these because, like you, I didn't really check out the lineup that much. They got Larry Cohen there.
Yeah, Larry Cohen and Lorene Landon are both here. They're in the Mask Fest room.
And the Mass Fest is like one of the cool things to. I always love looking at. I mean, even though I've got enough of that stuff. I mean, shit, I don't need to buy any more. But I mean, it's cool to look at.
No, there's a lot of great stuff to look in there, and the great. If you stay in there long enough, you get high off all the latex fumes in there. So you just kind of wander around, and there's just everything's kind of tilted, and you're high, and you don't really know what you do half the time you're in there until someone tells you later. So it's actually kind of a cool experience.
Yeah. No doubt.
Now I was gonna ask you though, Felsher, because you're probably the only guy that I can think of that's probably been going to shows longer than we have. What do you think about like how it's kind of moved in the last like 10 years, the conventions and things like that?
Well, I think anything that lasts as long as convention culture has, especially in the horror genre, in a weird way, is going to become a victim of its own success. There's some corporatization, there's some price gouging, there's a lot of trends that, yeah, I have to admit I'm not 100% happy about either. But for me, it depends on what you're going to the convention for. If you're just going for autographs and meeting celebrities, I can see where that would be troublesome. But if the reason I go most of the time is to just hang out with people and see friends I don't get to see a lot of times. And what's been great about this show, since I haven't had to really do very much, I just spend some time downstairs, come up to the room, relax, take a nap. Sometimes it's just good to kind of mix it up. It's actually a good place to just hang out with people who haven't changed, I don't think. If anything, it stayed pretty much the same. It's just gotten bigger, bigger network of people. So that's why I go. Like Cinema Wasteland, I don't even know who's going to be at that show in a few weeks, and I never know who's going to be there half the time. I just go because I like to. It's like like a family reunion now at this point. And so that's kind of based shows. I'm not a big fan of convention arena shows because those are almost like a big shopping plaza. I mean, it's not like they're a little too impersonal, and so I don't go to the like Comic-Cons and stuff like that very often, just because I don't get the experience out of that I'm going for. But everyone goes to conventions for different reasons. So.
Well, the only thing I don't like about it here lately is how much of a diva that Don May Jr.'s turned into, buddy. Golly, letting all that curtain success go to his head, but he's comes in throwing $100 bills around.
He down to him and said, Uncle Bill's calling you a pussy, motherfucker, and he'll be like, oh yeah, and he'll ignore you. But at the end of the day,
yeah, probably.
Don May's going to be. We were talking about the 4K Blu-ray. He's going to get on that format on day one. I can guarantee you.
Well, he might not. I was just talking to at dinner actually because I saw that announcement came out about the 4K thing, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes, and if they adopt it properly. I mean, if there's a market for it, sure, why not?" But a lot of studios and even some independent labels have already done some transfers in 4K because they saw what was coming down the road. So, but again, it's just I think we're still talking about a niche of a niche of a niche. I mean, it's just.
Right.
It's going to be still a collector's market, really a high-end kind of thing if you're getting down to 4K. And then what's next? 8K, 30K, 50K?
Yeah, and I mean, how big of a screen are you going to have to even really notice? That's the thing.
That's the thing. I mean, we're running a little bit ahead of the game here because I don't know too many people. I don't think I know anyone with a 4K set at all. I don't think I do. And Don doesn't even have one, so it's like it's nice it'll be made available next. Call the death of Blu-ray just yet. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's early on for Blu-ray to die out, I would think.
I just want fucking holograms. When's that coming? It's coming soon. With the with the curved HD TVs coming out and everything. It's only a matter of time for holograms.
I saw some demo and it was really amazing. It was a big HD TV that rolls up like a newspaper. You can just throw it in your knapsack and take it with you on a trip, and then just throw it up on a wall wherever you are. And I'm like, oh shit, that's going to be that easy. Great. Even easier for a TV to get stolen. I mean, that's just.
You pack it up.
Yeah.
Run out one.
We don't have to worry about getting stolen. You can just take it with you everywhere. So.
Yeah, stick it in your back pocket. And say, oh, where's your 70-inch? It's right here in my pants.
So yeah. Anyway, I mean, anybody that's got questions or anything, like I don't know how long Sleepy's going to stay on here, so.
I got it.
Okay. We'll go through some questions and stuff too, but I guess the big release for you coming out in the next little bit is the Nightbreed special edition.
Yeah, I worked on that a little bit. I shot some of the interviews for it at a convention and helped out on a couple things, but that's not actually my project. That's another producer's project. But I shot 6 interviews for that.
Well, that one's coming out. Is that coming out the end of this month or end of next month?
I think next. You know what? It's funny. I'm like the worst person to ask when stuff comes out. All I know is what my deadline is to turn stuff in. After that, it's like, is it out? Oh shit, I don't know. Are
you talking about?
It's the end of this month. I think it's sometime in October, but don't quote me on that because, to be honest with you, I'm pretty much talking out of my.
Yeah, the Scream Factory stuff. The thing about that is like we were talking about this on the show. They've got so much stuff coming out. You almost like forget about a lot of the stuff. Like I saw Lord of Illusions. They released the artwork for that and Dolls, and I completely forgot about both of those coming out from Scream Factory.
Yeah, no, I did. I a new making a featurette for Dolls. I did work on that one. We got a lot of good participation on that one, and it was from that film. Stephen Lee died. He had agreed to do the interview, and then I couldn't get a hold of him for a few weeks, and then I literally left a message for him the night that he died, and then I found out the next day that he passed away. It's like, oh shit, and that was really sad, because the young girl from the movie, Carrie Lorraine, who played the little girl in the movie, she was going to do Saturday, and she, unfortunately, because she was still kind of close with Stephen, and when he died, she just couldn't do the interview. It's like it's too soon, which I understood completely. But it's gonna be interesting to see how that all goes. I don't know if they've announced the full. Can't really say what else is going to be on there, but
right. Well, I know last time we had you on the show, we were talking about a couple of releases, and we talked in depth about them. But you remember what those were, Uncle Bill? That he wouldn't confirm. Or he was like, I would love to do these movies.
Yeah. I remember
it was like a day or two after that shit they were announced.
The motherfucker knew exactly what he was doing too. Looking back on it, because he was going, you know what would be great is if I would shit my pants to work on The Dark Half and Monkey Shines and something else, and it's like the next fucking day, all those come out, and it's like I'm sitting there and I'm like, where have I heard about all these films? Oh yeah, that asshole. That's.
Yeah, I will admit that at the time that we had that conversation, yes, I was working on Monkey Shines and Dark Half, but I wasn't allowed to say anything about it. But still can't really say anything about it because they haven't announced the specs on those yet. But there will be an announcement soon, and they're Romero projects, so they're special, of course. So for me,
yeah, I mean, I think both of those films needed like a special edition, though, for sure. Too.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely did. I mean. It was funny because sometimes when I work on stuff, I can get the master for the film won't be ready yet, but I can find an HD master for it somewhere. Somewhere somebody's done a Blu-ray or at least a high quality DVD of it somewhere that I can do the final, depending on what the quality is. Dark Half and Monkey Shines, I didn't have that. It was like with Dark Half, the only thing I had was an old full frame like DVD, and then a non-anamorphic one for widescreen one for Monkey Shine, but it looked like complete ass. So these are going to be nice to see in HD. I think I'm finally going to see what the masters look like next week. So that's going to be great. Those have been long overdue.
Yeah, I mean, I know Monkey.
It's weird because
Go ahead.
I had watched, oddly enough, before that, heard that Scream Factory was coming out with that. Like Dark Half is on Netflix, and I was like, we were talking about it on the show that time. And I was like, I'll just watch it because I haven't seen it in, I don't even know, like 5-6 years or something. It's actually like a lot better than I remembered it being. I mean, it's one of those movies that ages really, really well, I think.
Yeah, they both, their films, a very interesting period for George where he was sort of transitioning really independent stuff. He was trying to work with the studios and do more sort of not necessarily mainstream films, but films that were generated by him. And I thought they both were interfered with by a studio that didn't know what the hell they were doing half the times, and and so it's interesting. And then it led to a period where he didn't make. He got tied up in like 50 development deals where he made a lot. Those two films, I think they're the last two films of his that have not been treated to some sort of a special edition treatment on home. These are the last two. Everything else has gotten something. And so it's going to be nice to see these finally come out after all this time. But I'd love to talk about what we're doing. There's a lot of good. Let Scream make that announcement whenever they want to do that. I think that'll be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, those are coming out, what, in November, I think?
November, yeah. I do think those do come out in November.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited about both of those. I mean, Monkey Shines, I've got it on DVD over there, and I think it was only released once from MGM in, like, the 90s sometime, right? Real early on.
Yeah, it was just a kind of a bare bones. They had like it was a flipper. They had a full frame on one side, and it had a widescreen on the other, and neither one looked any good at all. And I think they had a trailer on there. Yeah. Those movies, no region's ever done anything with those things that were worth shit as far as I was concerned. So it's going to be nice to finally put those to bed.
Yeah, I definitely think that. That's a couple that I'm definitely looking forward to that they're doing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, unfortunately, that I'm looking forward to, but I mean, you kind of have to pick and choose what stuff you get because, if you get everything, there's some people that get everything.
Well, I know, I used to be one of those people, but at some point you just run out of fucking room.
Yeah, or you run out of money,
Also just run out of time, because you think about it, it's like, if I took the time to actually watch, I wouldn't have time to watch any new stuff. I mean, there's just not enough time in the day, so why do I have this stuff?
It literally is like, at this point, like somebody's releasing something on Blu-ray every week.
Yeah.
Or you could buy something like new every week. Like.
Oh no, I mean, you could easily. I mean, warehouse to store shit. I different things a week, but I can't. I mean, my store Blu-rays and DVD. Ever start getting maxed out, I weed stuff out. I say no, I'm not gonna. So I'll pull. Want to watch this? No, then fuck it. And honestly, and I know this may sound like heresy coming from someone who's very much dedicated to physical. A lot of films that I just have as an ultraviolet on Vudu, because the Blu-ray doesn't have any special features on it or anything. So it's like, well, why do I need to get the Blu-ray for this, for something that I'm probably not going to watch that often and doesn't have any special features on it? And quite frankly, for my purposes anyway, the Vudu player. Why have something taking up space?
Yeah. Well, I think for me too, a lot of the mainstream stuff, like I really wouldn't care about. Like I don't care about audio commentaries for like I don't know, Oculus or whatever. A lot of the new movies, like you're fine with just the movie. I don't really need special features for all the.
It depends on the movie. There's certain films I feel the same way. I don't necessarily need to know a lot about how. It's funny, like something like a Transformers movie. It's like, well, I can know how they made it. I get it, and that's fine, and that's great. But first, I don't even want to watch it anyway, so it doesn't much matter to me. But then there's just certain things where it's like, yeah, it doesn't have a historical place yet, so it just came out. I don't know Cobra was done. I'm sure it was fascinating, but I'm not
know.
For a 2-disc edition of that.
If you heard me talking earlier about and I haven't seen these in any stores around here, but when I was in Knoxville the other night,
the cards, the ultraviolet cards, I've seen
those.
I did see them somewhere. It was probably a Walmart or a Meijer or something up here where it was just a big row of cards, and some of them were stuff you could just go home and then there was some pre-order stuff. They were doing like for I forget what movie was coming up, some kids thing where home now and it'll be on your system like the day it comes out. And why not? For the store, it's just a piece of cardboard. There's no actual physical product. You don't have to worry about shipping it. What's going to get damaged?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking too, because Walmart kind of owns Voodoo anyway, so
yeah.
I'm surprised that they're just now coming out with that stuff.
Yeah, so why not?
Had that not happened, then I'm pretty sure that one of the three of us at some point, had Voodoo and all that stuff not happened, would have been like on Hoarders, buried underneath a fucking pile of like DVDs and Blu-rays, and they'd have been like some woman coming in trying to give us psychological counseling about throwing shit away, and just like a whole thing. Like, you really need to like get rid of this fucking 1987 version of Darkman. Like,
why do you think Darkman 3, Darkman Die from France?
Yeah, I could just see that. Like that.
Well, I mean, like some of these guys on YouTube too, like you'll see their collections. And, I know I talk about cinema sickness a lot and stuff like that, and that dude, he's got issues like everybody else that collects. But I see some people, at least his collection's like, neat, and he got all that shit alphabetized, all of it, like, I see some people, they're sitting in front of their collection, their DVDs are stacked up like 10 feet high, and you're thinking...
Like sliding over, and it's like, well, what's this right here? Oh, that's... that's Medea goes to jail on top of a big bag of turds.
Yeah, because these guys are going to wake up, one of these days with 50 pounds of DVDs on them or something, suffocating.
I'd love to see that. Like, I'd love to see that, like that episode of Hoarders. The guy's like buried alive underneath the thing, like DVDs, like the Facts of Life seasons.
He was smothered to death under a pile of DVDs. We believe the one that did it was looks like a UK PAL DVD of Garfield a Tale. That's what did it. It's what did him in, and poor bastard. That won't be me though. That won't be me. Thank God for that.
No, I owe the cinema sickness guy quite a bit, because he, like, when I started watching that guy's videos, I was like, God. I mean, I was like, wow, I could totally. It kind of just woke me up. I was like, no, I need to kind of scale down.
It's like a fucking Christmas Carol. He's like the ghost of your future.
Yeah.
Here's you in 5 years, fucker.
Yeah.
Just look at this, and it's like, oh no.
No, and I noticed more and more, like just like him. I mean, he'll buy stuff and never watch it either. And I did that quite a bit.
Yeah, if it's sitting on your shelf still wrapped 6 months after you bought it, why did you fucking buy it?
Right.
There was no point. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I don't buy a Blu-ray unless I know I'm going to watch it either right when I get home, or at least within a couple weeks after bringing it home. Otherwise, wait till you actually want to watch. Times out of 10, that never happens. So it's just, there's a lot of movies I like, but it's like I don't need to own it. I got to be kind of careful, especially and stuff. It's like, oh great, this is going to take up 90% of my shelf space. But then, every now and then something will come up. Like today, thanks to Don May at dinner, he pointed out Amazon has a sale right now on the entire series collection of Tales from the Dark. I don't have any of those because they were too expensive when they came out. They're like $130 for the series collection. It's on sale right now for $29.
Holy shit!
And so it's like,
Jesus.
well, it's like, okay, well, I'll make an exception. I'm buying that shit.
Yeah.
So I'm not $100 off. Yeah. But that doesn't usually happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I think one of the sets I bought this year, that Indiana Jones set, was like $30 or something on Blu-ray, and I got that. But I mean, very rarely do I, unless it's something like huge that I want, which there's really been nothing like that this year where I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get it.
Yeah, the only thing is I really want, I want that Night limited edition, and I shot 6 interviews for it, so I better fucking get one. Just if they get that stingy with me, But then there's like the Halloween collection and stuff like that. So it's like, well, good. At least I know I'll get one of those. But it's.
You need to hook us up with one of those, Slippy. I'd like to have one of those.
I could barely hook myself up with one. The hell are you guys?
Man,
and you work for them. That's the saddest shit I've ever
Tom Chin won't respond to emails, boys. They need to get him a new PR guy. That guy ain't worth a shit.
Tom Chin, buddy. How dare you?
Yeah, Tom Chin. Shit. I'm throwing it out there. I'm throwing it out there. Bro, Tom Chin needs to respond to some emails.
He's calling Tom Chin out over here.
Yeah.
I have no issues with Tom Chin or anybody Shout Factory. I get all my stuff just fine.
We don't though, Tom Chin. Fuck you.
That's your problem, not mine, and I cannot back you up in any way. Unfortunately, I like getting paid and staying employed. So sorry.
Tom Chin is not going to have this disobedience. He's not going to put up with it.
Tom Chin probably knows karate. He'd kick my ass or something.
He's just getting worse. He's just going to get worse from here on out.
Anyway, we do have a question for Slippy, though.
You do?
Yeah. Mobilis in Mobili on YouTube. He says, what is the situation with the UK Creep Show? The transfer is far better than the US Warner release, and the documentary and commentary were superb special features. Do you see, or do you think this amazing work will ever see the light of day in the US, or is it stuck being in limbo between continents forever? Could Scream Factory possibly acquire the movie from Warner Brothers?
Well, Warner Brothers has traditionally been very difficult to license from. But Scream might at some point. I mean, they'd love to. Believe me, I know they'd love to license Creep Show. You kidding? I'm sure they've asked many times. But Warner Brothers is something of a closed shop. In fact, there's something of a closed shop when it comes to even special features. They have their own people that do stuff, so they don't even necessarily hire out. Which is why one of the reasons that the Creep Show Blu-ray that came out here, because my documentary was ready and done and available to them when they first brought Creep Show out on Blu-ray, and they turned it down. They weren't interested. They never even looked at it. So I'm actually thinking about pursuing sort of a Crystal Lake Memories Never Sleep Again type situation where I might just bring it out by itself with some bonus content, some stuff I didn't use previously, some other archival features, and do just sort of a release of it by itself that I'll distribute or something like that. Because at this point, it's never going to see the light of day otherwise here in the States, and I can make sure that it qualifies to, with the fair use and all that, same as those guys did.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a documentary you did probably, it's been 6 years or so, right?
Oh, yeah, about that. Yeah, about 6 years, yeah. And there's other stuff and other... So I could add a lot of really great bonus material for the doc, because the docs still holds up really well as far as because when we did the UK Blu-ray, I repurposed it in HD because I shot it all in HD back in the day, but I had never, edited HD. So I went back and got the original files out and had to reconstruct the whole thing in HD. And I was watching it again. I was like, no, this is still valid. It's still good. It's not date or anything. And there's a couple people in there who have since passed away, so it's actually kind of nice to have a document that was made at that particular time. And I think people will still like it. So we'll, hopefully, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next year or so. Because I think it just goes on too much longer. We're going to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the doc, and it's like, okay, well,
Well, what you could do though is you could, continue on. You could do something for Creep Show 2, and everyone wants a documentary on Creep Show 3. So
I would actually really like to see a documentary on Creep Show 3. That's no joke. Just to be like, what the fuck happened? Like, what were you doing? Why were you doing it? Like, what was the point? I think I would, on Creep Show 3, I would watch that before I'd watch anything else at this point, just to figure out the mystery behind that film.
I think Slippy is in limbo right now. But yeah,
No,
Creep Show.
I'm sorry, I was just in shock that you actually.
Oh, I thought the screen was stuck.
I think he was doing that purposely. Yeah, because I could see the light and shit from the computer hitting him, but he's very. He's doing a good job holding it. Though.
Yeah, every now and then you can get.
I need to practice that.
But I'm assuming you don't want a Creepshow 3 documentary.
No.
I think it would. I think it would be good.
The only time it would make sense is if you could get Scream Factory involved, and you could do like a full restoration and a Blu-ray.
Get Scream
4K.
Factory involved. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
They don't want Creepshow 3 either. You know what the hell? I mean, it's like no one. Here. You know what? I can actually premiere a documentary about Creepshow 3 right now. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Oh, God.
Red Shirt Pictures presents The Making of Creepshow 3. This movie blows. Directed and edited by Michael Felsher. And credits. There you go. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that is pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah, it's. I usually don't talk too much shit about some movie, but that.
Yeah, you wouldn't even talk shit about that Children of the Corn remake that you did work on.
Which, by the way.
Children of the Corn Bulls. That's just like the Children of the Corn, like, because they did a damn sequel after they did. Was that a sequel to the remake, or was that like a separate sequel? That was a sequel to Children of the Corn: Fields of Terror or whatever. The Children of the Corn movies are confusing, man.
I don't Oh God! It was nah.
Are you okay?
I'll be okay.
Yeah, basically just back to the Creepshow documentary. It's something you're probably going to do yourself, you think?
I think at some point, yeah, because I really need some time to kind of focus on it, but I've just been so busy. Hopefully, over the winter, I'll focus on that and maybe figure out how to get it done. Because fortunately, the masters that I did, all the work is done. So of compiling other features for it. Because if it's just the doc, I don't think that would be enough. But there's a lot of other stuff I could include. Some of the people who have. I would like to actually cover Creepshow 2 with maybe like a new interview with Mike Warnick or something like that. Because I think Creepshow 2 would be its own thing if it was ever going to happen later. I'm still holding out hope that Creepshow 2 special edition down the line. But we'll see. I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
The ideal thing for Scream Factory, if they could ever get it from Warner Brothers, would be like a box set with Creepshow and Creepshow 2 and like the ultimate set of that. I mean, I think that would be awesome. Just because nothing was ever done of those movies here in the U.S., really. And
then actually have an empty slot in there, an empty case for Creepshow 3, but deliberately leave the disc out. So
that would make everybody happy. Yeah, just put like the artwork and stuff behind there, but no disc.
And or a blank DVD, so you.
They should do that with the Halloween set too. Just don't include the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
You know, it was so funny about that. It was weird because when the set was first announced, everyone was like, "Why are you including the Rob Zombie movies? No one likes the Rob Zombie movies. I don't want to see the Rob Zombie." Blah, blah, blah. And then the minute the specs got released, all those same people were like, "Well, where's the theatrical versions of the Rob Zombie movies? We need the theatrical versions of the Rob Zombie movies." And it's like, aren't you the same people who 5 minutes ago were saying, why are these things even in here? Specific versions of the films included for films you didn't want included in the first place?
You know what, though? The theatrical version of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is actually a better movie, I think. I mean, neither one of them are that good, but I thought the theatrical version was slightly better.
I know, I'm kind of... I don't know. I haven't really...
Neither version does much for you.
You know what? Actually, I like the first half of the first Halloween because it was a completely different thing that had its own vibe. And then the second half was just like, oh, shit, I got to remake Halloween. I forgot. And they just kind of run, and it doesn't really connect to anything. And actually, Halloween, even in some of the deleted scenes and some of the alternate ending, it's like, this thing's weird and wacky and just all over the place. I almost admire it more because it's like he was swinging for the fences. You know, the ball may have flown out of the stadium and killed 52 people, but at the same time, he was trying, by God, and it was. I gotta admire any filmmaker who's willing to just say fuck it and try something different with it. But the movie is really just, it's all over the map, and I haven't revisited it since I saw it the first time, but you know, maybe I'm not going to match them too. I don't hate them or anything. I just much for me one way or the other at the end.
I'm kind of interested in seeing what he does with the 31 movie.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
We'll get to see that, but
I don't know what the hell it is, and you know, I'm sure it'll be interesting. You know, I think he's a talented filmmaker. I don't have a problem. A lot of people are just like, you know, fuck Rob Zombie, blah. Like, you know, he's done some good work, some excellent work. I mean, I still think Devil's Rejects is fantastic, and I think if he's left to his own devices to do his own thing, and he's not having to worry about conforming to a previous, like, you know, a franchise, or that, you know, his ideas have to be sort of, you know, manhandled or shoehorned in a certain way because of the constraints of a remake or something like that. You know, because I like Lords of Salem too. I thought that was.
I did too. I was surprised how much I liked that one.
Yeah, I was. I thought, okay, well, this is the direction he's going. It was almost like a Rob Zombie Jodorowsky film. It was very, very odd and just kind of, it was much more lyrical and kind of had a very weird sort of visual sense to it that I liked. It wasn't, you know, you didn't really have to follow the plot per se, because I don't know if there really was one, but I think that was the point, you know, and I like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's strong on the visuals for sure. I mean, that's definitely one constant in all his movies.
Yeah, so it's, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm up for whatever he wants to do. I don't really from him that I have bad. So
let's see. I think there was another thing for you. Somebody's asking about an auction. You going to do any more auctions?
Not online. At Cinema Wasteland at the beginning of the month. I'm going to have some items out. We're going to do kind of and some special items, and because I'm going to do a volunteer for New Beginnings. We're going to do it's all going to go to a charity. It's a charity auction for them. And I'm going to have stuff out at the table. All proceeds from that sell at that table will go to them at the end of the weekend.
Okay.
So auction off. One of the things I'm going to auction off is a frame. It's a one-of-a-kind wood frame. It's huge. It's about this big, and it's like 8x10 item in it, but it's made from the shutters from the Cabin of Evil Dead 2. Only one was made, and it's the only one I've got. And we'll wait. So we'll do like a raffle thing, and at the end of the weekend, it will go to one lucky person. So we'll see how all that goes, and there'll be a few other items I've gotten signed by some people over the course of the year, and so that's the auction I'm going to do. I was thinking about doing it online, but I thought, well, I got a captive audience, and I have a table at perfect place to go to do something like that.
Yeah.
First weekend of October.
Well, it sounds like it's definitely for a good cause. It's not like you're pocketing all the money or anything.
No,
so.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I could certainly use the money, but I want to help out the rescue as much as possible, because it's funded solely on donations. So it's always a life-changing thing. I want to do whatever I can to help them at any time, and this is one way I can do that. So, because unfortunately, I'm not physically that good at heavy lifting and stuff. So, if I can do this, at least I feel like I'm contributing something other than just showing up and petting kitties all day. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Let's see. There's a fellow on here asking. He said he's heard that Scream Factory is going to be bringing out Jaws 2 and 3 on Blu-ray. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that, no.
Okay. It seems to me like maybe I'm just imagining this, But back when they released Jaws on Blu-ray like a couple years ago, did they not announce like all the other Jaws films on Blu-ray around the same time? And
I don't remember. I thought maybe they had announced Jaws 3. I don't remember, but I have a vague memory of them saying, like seeing a packaging shop. That could have been an internet thing. That could have just been some fan thing that was done that people assumed was real.
right, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, because it seems like I remember around the same time, like all the other Jaws films coming out on Blu-ray as well. Not that I don't know if there's a real, market for the other Jaws films as much as the original, but
yeah, well, it would. We did like a Jaws sequel collection or something like that, because I don't know how Jaws: The Revenge on its own would sell.
probably not too well.
That's.
Or just repackage like all the Jaws films together or something like that.
Well, I don't think I don't know. I don't know if Steven. The film's touching my movie. Don't do that. I mean, Jaws 2 is okay. Jaws 2 is actually a decent sequel, but Jaws.
They could do Jaws 3 in the Blu-ray 3D though.
Oh God.
That would be a cool little gimmick.
It'd be a gimmick, but it sure as hell wouldn't make that piece of shit movie any better. Jaws 3.
Jaws 4 is at least so bad it's entertaining though.
So stupid. It's such a stupid, and the ending is one of the worst endings in cinema history, no matter which one you watch. And then Jaws 3 is aged like milk. It's not good. It's really bad. It's just.
Oddly enough, I've gotten all the Jaws films, like the sequels, aside from the third one at pawn shops. I cannot find the third one. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on those movies. So
no, you don't. Not certainly not on Jaws fucking Thursday. I'm not gonna.
I haven't seen the third one in years. It's been many years, so I can't hardly even remember it. I think isn't Dennis Quaid in that or something like that?
Yeah, Dennis Quaid spends most of the movie running around going, "How the fuck did I end up in this? Oh, God damn it! Why am I in a Jaws sequel?" But
it's like Michael Caine in the fourth one.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jaws 3 originally began life as almost a spoof of the Jaws. They were going to go a comedic direction with it. Joe Dante was going to do it. Originally it was called Jaws 3 People Zero, and I would have loved to have seen that movie made. I think that would have been a hell than any of the other ones they did. But whatever. Hollywood doesn't usually go for the creative aspect. They just want more of the same, so they can make a certain amount of money. They know.
That's true. Uncle Bill is actually I think his laptop died or something. Or that's what he's saying. So I don't know if he's going to be back or not. But
oh my God, my laptop!
You would think that he would just plug his laptop up. I mean, he's at home, so.
Well, that's okay. Actually, I need to getting going. Actually, I've been on a little longer than I thought I would be, but it was good talking to you guys again, and we should do this again sometime.
Oh yeah, for sure. I saw you online. I was like, hell, I'll ask him see if he wants. I know you're at Horrorhound, so
yeah.
Thanks for coming by, and we'll definitely try to get you back on the show again whenever we can talk about some of these movies that you're working on.
And,
like Creepshow
from Horrorhound. And if you're here tomorrow, I'll be around I'll be here all day tomorrow. I'll be at the Synapse table a lot, just sitting around. If you see me walking around, come up and say hi.
Yeah, and pick up the Blu-ray of Prom Night. I already got my copy, and it's awesome.
I haven't gotten my copy yet. It's waiting at home for me. It showed up while I was gone. That's why I go by the Synapse table. And it's like, oh, look at this! Yet another copy of a movie I don't have.
Yeah, that's definitely I think Prom Night is long overdue for a good edition.
And this is about as good as you'll ever see it.
Yeah, it's the best. You'll never see one better, I don't think.
Yeah,
well, maybe if the Synapse does the 4K Blu-ray, maybe.
Why not?
That would be it.
It's the next logical step.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, appreciate you joining us, and we will hopefully get you back on here in the next month or so.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Take it easy.
Later.
See you.
Bye.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, I'll stay on here a little while longer. I don't know if Uncle Bill's going to be joining us. I've run out of my water, So I'm not going to be back. I'm not going to be on here too much longer anyway, because my voice starts start hawking up shit. But had some wrestling related stuff on here. I guess I could talk about that. I know Slippy wasn't into that sort of thing, but John Grande, who or what's your favorite all-time WWE pay-per-view? That's a tough one for me. I would probably go with either WrestleMania 3 or WrestleMania 5. Those are ones that I watched nonstop as a kid, over and over and over again. Also, really loved SummerSlam '90. That was the one with I think they had Hogan and Earthquake, and they had Rick Rude and Ultimate Warrior in the cage match, and you had Demolition, Heart Foundation, best 2 out of 3, I think. A lot of great matches on that. So, enjoyed those pay-per-views. Let's see. Thank you, Bandrell. I appreciate it. Blue Underground. Yeah, they. I actually got the screener of Stage Fright in from Blue Underground the other day. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if it's worth the blind buy or not. Hopefully, I'll get to watching it in the next couple weeks, and I will let you guys know. Orc is wanting to know what's the latest on the Dead Pit website. Just continuing to work on it over the next week or so. I'm going to try to finish everything up. It needs to be finished up with the archive section. We got a lot of t-shirts on there and some new merchandise, new t-shirts. I talked to Joe about doing hoodies for us, so we may have some hoodies on there in the fall, and when it gets cooler where people wear hoodies. That's about it. All the Dead Pit shows will be up there. Let's see. I have something about Brock Lesnar, I'm thinking. Found it on here. Somebody's wanting to know when the next Chucky movie's coming out. I have no clue. Somebody's wanting to know where the B plan is, baby. The B plan's in bed because he's an old motherfucker. Yeah. All right. I guess that's it. I mean, there's some other stuff on here. I guess I'll refresh it. Kind of a brief. Well, we were on here for an hour and a half. Uncle Bill pussied out on us again. I'll blame him. But it's a fun show. We will be back next week on the Dead Pit show. And I don't know what the hell we're doing. I never really know. But it will be a fun show. Hopefully, I'll be making some more YouTube videos this fall. I've been really busy with stuff, so other stuff, non-internet stuff. But I want to do some more videos. I want to do some more creepy, crappy movie reviews. So yeah, I mean, stay tuned for that. Hopefully, I'll do some more stuff like that. We got the WrestleManiac stuff coming up. We always do the live pay-per-view reviews right after the WWE pay-per-view, so check that out. And we will have more stuff whenever. Appreciate Uncle Bill for joining me, and Sleepy for checking in from Horrorhound Weekend. It's been a fun show. Hope everybody liked it. Yeah, so that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Have a good night. Don't drink too much on Saturday night. Adios.